because I think it's the issue with both of you, is that you both have terrible difficulty with being vulnerable.
Being in a car together and listening to an audiobook about vulnerability with Janelle, that's like a lot. that's a lot.
And so our therapist is like, okay, what about compromising, and after you listen to it on your own, you listen to it together? I mean, I think, okay, maybe.
Hey everyone, it's Kody from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Wednesday, February 8th, 2023, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Last night, I did a couple videos for the Sister Wives. We talked about Christine's new boyfriend, where a lot of you in the comments were like excited, but very concerned because you're like, whoa girl, slow down. I hope you just can ride the course, be careful. And then others of you were like, yeah, Christine, go.
I am dating someone exclusively. He's wonderful and romantic and so kind and everything I've been looking for. Incredible with Truly.
And then the other video that we did, we talked about how there's this new leak that's going to this podcast, and this is apparently a production source trying to claim that Robin and Kody are going out of the country to try to find a new bride. And in my video, we were talking through, what is this actually plausible? Would Kody and Robin do this? What are the ramifications legally? Would Robin and Kody have to have like a legal divorce in order to do this? How do you get around the immigration issues with plural marriage? Because it's an actual like felony to be in plural marriage from the US government standpoint. And they can actually block immigration into the country if someone comes specifically for that reason. And so if he's on a show and he's like doing those things, could this actually happen? And now the new leak is that Meri might not be on the show this year. And it could be due to fallout of the split with Kody and things that have come out about her. And then Kody's scrambling because all the kids are talking.
He's a loving person. He's a loving husband. And what you're seeing is years of people not taking care of their relationships. Mm-hmm. He's had wives reject him affection-wise because...
So before I dive into that, I just want to give you some insight directly from Miss Kristen Decker, who was in the AUB, and she's an apostate activist. Did any of you guys watch Prisoner of the Prophet on Discovery Plus, the story of Brielle Decker? Kristen, our favorite, was in the series, and if you want to see how pretty and inspirational Kristen is, please watch the series. And I just want to say to Kristen, you are my hero. This is what Kristen says about fundamentalists going out of the country. Fundamentalists, as you know, are great at evading laws and learning how to break and get away with them. I know of many cases where women were brought or came over and were married legally to a polygamous man, just like Kody did to Meri so he could marry Robin for legal purposes. In this case, in a few cases, plurally married men even divorced their legal spouse to marry yet another man as a plural wife. The AUB are pros at this kind of behavior. Kody might just cast Robin aside in a flash if he could get new young blood. So basically she's saying that even if there's like immigration issues, even if Robin were have to get like legally divorced from him, that if he were to find like someone attractive and young and like fresh meat sort of thing, because the rumor is that they're looking for someone super young and naive and like new to all of this, because you know that's not exploitative and human trafficking. But alas, she thinks that it's not outside of the realm of possibilities that this could happen, because they've done this in the past, and men, because they hold all the power, will tell a wife, I'm divorcing you, and this is why. So if he finds another woman that he likes enough, he could force the divorce, is basically what she's saying. And then she also said this, once again, this could all be for ratings. They are good at these ploys just to get people to pay their debts, and so many fans fall for it. So Kody's monetary issues are a big problem. So this could be a ploy for ratings just to get people to watch the show. And, you know, the ratings were really good this last season. And I think it was because people were so excited to see them break free and like leave Kody. I don't know that fans want to stick around to watch Kody potentially exploit more women. I really don't. I've got enough of you in my comments. And obviously, all of you don't represent like the whole couple million that are watching this show, but I feel like I have enough of hundreds of thousands of you that watch these videos to know that there is a large percentage of you that don't like Kody and won't watch the show if this is what it turns into. So the next topic is that Meri might not appear on the show. And again, this source information is very cagey. It's hard to believe some of this, and then it's plausible. I don't know how else to put it, because I know that production people do leak stuff. I've just never seen it with this show, and maybe they're like fretting about things, so they're just like leaking it to this random podcaster. I would love to know how she made these connections. I've never actually made contact with a production from this show. I've talked to people from other shows that I've covered, just never from Sister Wives. But anyways, the new story that they're promoting is that Meri might not be on the show anymore. So before we dive into Kody is seeking Sister Wives and Meri Brown is leaving the show, can do me a big favor and give this video a thumbs up. Also, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you have not yet subscribed by clicking on it down there. If you want to get notified of all of the newness and all the exciting videos, make sure to click on the bell. And also, if you like these videos, leave a comment to say something and share this video with your friends. So again, we are entertaining this because it's just more fodder for you guys to discuss and dissect and discuss. And so let's just talk about what this new tea is about her. First of all, I just want to say, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Meri barely appears on the series because she barely was on the show last year. And because she and Kody have now split, Meri is not close to literally anyone. She's not close to Janelle or her kids or Christine or her kids, really. She has some like relationships a little bit with some of Janelle's older kids, like two of the boys, but as far as like the girls, no. And Christine's kids don't really have much of a relationship with Meri. So, and Meri doesn't really spend the holidays with any of them, and because she only has Leon, it's easier to like not have her on the show, you know what I'm saying? Because she doesn't really have any familial connections. Whereas like, and I don't know how much Meri and Robin are going to stay in connection once she leaves Kody. You know what I mean? And when it comes to Christine and Janelle, they're friends and their kids are friends. So it's easier for them to like go into a storyline together and also dating, the two of them dating and moving on. The headline is Meri will hardly make any appearances on the show's new season, which she hardly made any appearances last season. Just so you know, she didn't really have a storyline. Meri was like interviewed to respond to other people's stuff. She really didn't have her own storyline at all. So anyways, it says that she will hardly make any appearances on the show. Okay. So as far as the fallout for the family. So once the series, like once the show was over and this last year, like the fallout in the family has been horrible, right? The kids are all like, everyone's speaking out against Kody. All the kids are saying all this stuff. They've exposed all this kind of crap that Kody's been involved in, all the exploitation, the poverty, the just using people, the abuse. And so this is what Pauline Blithell says, who's from the podcast. Producers did not know that this was going to fall out so badly. Fans are interested in Meri, but the last season she's been so much put aside by Kody. I definitely think she's rejuvenated now that this bed and breakfast, Lizzie's Heritage Inn, she's been rejuvenated with the bed and breakfast and she will be featured. Okay, so this part is really confusing to me because I don't know, this bed and breakfast isn't brand new. It's since 2017 she's had the bed and breakfast. She was not on the show. She didn't have a storyline. She and Kody didn't interact. But again, it wasn't just Kody. Like, she didn't interact with the other wives. So, and I don't think that her bed and breakfast is really that exciting of a storyline. Like, she did a couple episodes where she was there, but they didn't really feature her working there or anything like that. So Pauline claims that Meri's bed and breakfast has become her focus. She'll only be featured a little bit and it hardly makes any appearances. So because Meri is focusing on her bed and breakfast now, and her focusing on her bed and breakfast has to do with the fact that her mother Bonnie passed away, and Bonnie was the one that was running the B&B, without Bonnie there full time and having to rely on one of her friends to fill in sometimes, Meri does have to pick up the slack and run her own business because she owns the business. So because she's in Utah running the B&B, she can't film because she's never in Flagstaff. So she says that it's caused standstill with production. I think what's happened here is that Meri wasn't really on the show to begin with, and then the split just further proves that she's not a part of the family. And I think they've said that they've been 4 separate families for a really long time. And when Gwendolyn was asked in one of her videos that she posted on her YouTube channel, like whether or not like Meri, if they celebrate holidays with Meri, she said like Meri doesn't really interact with the family at all. So I don't know why she would be on the show really at this point. You know what I'm saying? So if Meri isn't on the show, could it have to do with the fact that one, she's not involved with the family, but could it also be a product of these allegations that have come out? Because part of the reason why she's not close to the family is because a lot of the kids think that she was scary, and some have said that she was verbally and emotionally abusive. Peyton has implied that it went beyond verbal. I don't know. Pauline is equating it to the B&B and Meri's moving on with her life. I don't know about that, but I think she just doesn't have any relationships with the family. And I think because of the backlash that she's getting right now, I think that TLC might just find a way to sort of write her out because her storyline is very inconsequential at this point. She's barely on the show anyway. Now, this is interesting because she claims that their dating lives are going to be on the show, but it's weird because a source a few days ago was saying that they're not going to show the dating on the show and Christine's keeping that private. So it's like conflicting here. Like there's one source saying that it's going to be on the show, the other source is saying it's not going to be on the show. But then she adds a little bit of her opinion. She says, I think the season's going to be pivotal and interesting for fans because all the things have been revealed about the money, about the poverty levels of the children. And there's been a lot of exposure on Kody and exposure on his life that I think he thought he was going to be kept hidden. But unfortunately, it's all coming out now. His kids have been speaking out about them. And McKelty opened up about the poverty. She also called Meri abusive. Peyton called Meri abusive and abrasive and mean. So I don't know what the show is going to cover with that because the show was already covering that fallout. And Kody's been losing his reputation for a long time. The only way that you can actually communicate with Kody now is if on social media is if you pay him $99 for a cameo where he talks for like 30 seconds and says nothing but peace and love, Kody Brown. So he wants to reshape his image and like rehab his image because the show is how he makes money, which is obvious. She goes on to say, I imagine that Kody's very much in a state of panic of where the storyline goes because of this is his income. He earns a monstrous amount of money for the show. Okay, so Kody makes probably $35,000 an episode, and there's like 15 episodes, but that is supposed to be split between all of the family members. It's not just supposed to be his. So when you divide it up against all of the different people, and the wives are supposed to get split equally, he's not making as much as you would think, unless he doesn't share it at all, okay? And yes, it's a substantial amount of money, but he also has a substantial amount of debt. He spends the money faster than he makes it. He has all this property. He doesn't know how to save money, and he has 18 kids. He just hasn't been wise with his money. Money is the issue, she said. And I think he's terrified that the show is going to go away, and that is why now that his wives are left and they're going to be the focus now. And so he's got to ramp up and get his reputation back. So I don't think there's any way for Kody to get his reputation back. I think you can't go from where Kody is, because what we've exposed about Kody is that he has been the stereotypical polygamist. He used his wives for money. He mistreated his wives. He didn't have relationships with his children. He was verbally abusive. He was physically abusive. He paddled his kids. He exploited his kids for money. He put greed in front of his family. Like, he was dealing with a lot of the same issues with welfare, with bankruptcy, with not being there for the wives, with collecting a harem and really not putting the time, energy, and the women are basically just like, he's the stud and they're the breeder for him. that's really what constituted a lot of their marriages towards the end. He didn't have much of a marriage with these women. Kody's behavior on the show has proven that he is abusive, both verbally and emotionally and financially. And I don't think there's any way to repair that. I think he might think because he's a narcissist that he repaired it. And I think a lot of what she's saying here are her opinions and assumptions about what could be going on in his mind. Obviously, he is not going to want the show to be canceled. I think he obviously is going to be freaking out. I wouldn't put anything past him to try to grab a storyline. I think if this is a storyline about the getting a wife from out of the country, it's a storyline, and that's it. Period. I don't think that unless he does find someone willing to do this, that it's going to be anything more than a storyline. I think viewers are wisening up to the fact that Kody has lied and abused people as a part of the show. So I don't think there's a way to restore his reputation. I really don't see a path forward for him. I don't. Not with what he's done. And I don't know how you get through all of that wreckage when you have all these kids online every single day or every single week exposing something else about their father that is in contrast to who he was on the show. It's kind of like he's past the point of no return. It's like it was like Jim Bob Duggar and Josh. You like until you knew the truth, it was okay. But once you knew the truth, there was nothing that you could say or do to help repair their images. It was done. It was over. And Kody's at the same place. Kody might not have committed crimes like Josh Duggar or covered up crimes like Jim Bob, but he has been involved in activities that are technically illegal, and he's exploited people, and it's just disgusting. So her opinion is that Meri isn't going to be on the show very much. I think my opinion is that if they do phase her out, it's going to be due to her horrible relationships with the rest of the family because of her abusive behavior. And I think it'll be the easy way for them to disconnect from the abuse allegations by just erasing her from the show. And that's just my thought. As far as Kody, anything about him getting a new wife is just a way to keep you guys interested. And like Kristen said, you're either going to fall for it or you're not. So tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below.